Good evening, everyone. Hello, how are you? My name is Mary. This is Rupert. Um, this is my very first YouTube video, and I'm actually doing it, uploading this for a class that I'm in. It's a social science class. And the reason why I'm uploading it, I want to get to the topic, is because I had to pick a social science topic to discuss in a very short video. So if I could have a few minutes of your time, feel free to comment on the video. Any suggestions, I'm not gonna, nothing rude, but any suggestions, what you liked about it, what you don't, and maybe I'll do more of these in the future. This could be the start of something. But anyway, I chose a topic that I felt was controversial, but not only that, something that I thought that we could elaborate on. So, and it basically, I wanted to discuss how vital and or important is religion to today's society. And do you think that religion is needed in order for society to function? That's a loaded question. But for me, in terms of my thinking with regards to that is, I'll start with the latter of that. Do I think that religion is needed in order for society to function? So I'm in terms of answering that, I'm going to talk about how deeply rooted religion has been in my life. And I'm not talking about the disciplines, so to speak, like Christianity or Buddhism or anything like that. I'm talking about the social construct. Like, for instance, there is a God that we are to obey, and if we step out of line, then this happens. You know, there's consequences for our actions. And so to me, that's the gist, or the gist, is that what you, the gist of religion is what I just said. So in terms of that and how I've lived my life and how I grew up, I think religion kept me out of the church, kept me out of a lot of trouble, because I believed in the social construct. I believed there was a God, that we should fear God, and if we stepped out of line, then this would happen. And so I carried that with me, and as I've lived and have journeyed through life, I've changed some of my views with regard to Christianity. I don't want to get into that. Did it turn it off? Oh, okay. Hi. I don't want to get into that, but to answer my question, I would say that I don't see a world without the social construct, which is religion. I think that it is needed. I think that we have to believe in something. I think that humans have a desire to connect with a supreme being, and I think that it's needed. I think that the powers that be, which is outside, supernatural of the universe, has done a great job in keeping some type of order and morality with regards to people. So, what say you on this?
What's the first question?
So the first part of my question was, how vital and or important is religion in today's society? And do you think that religion is needed in order for society to function?
I think it's based on the side of that perspective that you're on. Like, I do believe personally that it was a construct for a specific reason, right? So with that being said, if that's all you know and that's all you've been taught, you will be guided in that way, and you will follow in those rules. One example is that most of us, for life, we have a religious perspective. And that's not saying it's a good or bad thing, but if you step back for a minute and take a historical look, and even saying, where did religion come into our history, right? At that point, and that's like, you can call it a demarcation point, and then say what was before that, right? And keep kind of backtracking to see, and then really see where religion fits. What I do agree with Mary in terms of how she feels it's needed. I feel the principles which lie within religion, because I think those are universal principles.
Laws, so to speak.
Right. I don't think the religion itself is needed. Now, the principles that the religion has taken from, I feel like religion has watered them down from where it originally came from. I do believe we need principles to guide our life. I do believe we need things that keep us anchored to that, which I'll call is the source. Whichever you subscribe your source to in religion that you subscribe to, that's what I'm talking about. So the source is very important. It is something higher than us. It is something that has called us here for an experience. I just think the religion, there are people living within our society that don't subscribe to religion, but subscribe to that source, right? And they operate solely in those principles, which mean it drives their purpose, right, in their life, and that allows them to see life clearer. Because when you're operating under something you really don't understand, you get a watered down version not only of yourself, but in how you move and operate through this life.
Or you start practicing something just because somebody
practice
told
them wrong.
you. Yeah, you go through the motions.
The other thing is too, in my studies, or just reading, right? I don't want to make it over. I'm not a scholar. I don't have a degree in this and no certifications. Just my own personal reading. I remember just picking something offline, and there was a PDF. It was a 15-page PDF. It said "Religion versus African Thought."
Okay, I read that too.
Oh, did you?
I did.
So just looking at how that was put together, and just basing some of what I'm saying off of that in terms of how African thought, those particular people, indigenous, whatever you want to call them, they thought of everything in the total sum of, right? It wasn't just A plus B equals these blessings. And I think that's what religion kind of has us thinking. That's why we get frustrated when it says at 12 o'clock pray, face the moon and sun.
It's become a practice and an organized
right. Now
type
practices are good,
but
if you're not practicing the right thing, you won't get the results. And that's what I've learned too. A law is a law is a law, meaning I can do it at any time of the day, or maybe not necessarily any time, but
it's not a restriction.
Anytime I do it, the outcome is the same. That's a law, and that's something that that's something that we can count on. Not something that I got to try every day for 10 times a day. And
it's configured based on who does it or whatever.
So you have this false sense. So one thing I didn't agree on is I don't think we should be fair in God. I think,
Well, no, I'm saying that's what I was taught. And that's why it was important to me to also say later, as I got older, I shied away from, and I guess as I became more knowledgeable, because it wasn't just age that made me, it was me seeking knowledge. And I realized that some facets within the religion that I practice weren't conducive to my thinking and my evolution. And so as I evolved,
that's important too. Like what she's tethering on is that religion also marginalizes our intuition. Like if we talk about this God, this entity, this source that has brought us forth, and we are a part of it, why would he also want us, why would the source, I don't want to say it's a he or she, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would that entity give me something that in turn that this practice is telling me not to use? You know what I mean? Like
your free will and your free thinking.
Free will, my intuition.
Free will.
In terms of how I should operate. Yeah. And again, too, certain religions fit us all in one box, and when in reality we're all unique in what we have for this life. Like the life we live, someone needs our gift, or the world needs our gift in some capacity. And it's not always, and I want to, this is my own opinion, I don't want to always say it's a good thing. It can be a bad thing where you may need to be a catalyst for someone's life too, and that might have just been your job. But that's neither here nor there in this particular discussion. So now, does that answer the first question? You need me to go further?
I think it answers, I think your answer embodied my entire question. And I think that we are kind of parallel to one another's answer. Our answers are parallel. But basically, religion, is it needed in order for society to function? I think you hinted on that.
I did, and just to go a little deeper, so is religion needed in order for society to function? I feel like if you're subscribing to what those people that are in control want society to be,
that's why I want.
Right, because you need religion to play a certain part so you can have a certain outcome, so that society should act a certain way, follow this God or religion in a certain way, so that you can get this fear factor, because fear sells. We need products sold, marketing, yada yada yada.
So you're saying in the commercialism aspect of it, it serves a purpose.
Bring your money to church.
So that part is where I was more on the part of the morality.
No, I was getting to that. I just kind of wanted to playfully play around.
But you're right. I mean, it serves its purpose.
Right. It served what it was.
It's $1 billion a year.
Right.
Revenue.
So now you're saying on the
organized religion makes. Yeah.
See that one.
I think it.
But this is the thing. I think it when you're telling someone to, if you do A plus B to equal C and it's not innate to them who they are, so now what I don't want to do is go into, because I believe more so from a zodiac position.
Yeah, see, we're going in the weeds.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that from morale, it's just if you're intuitive enough to take those principles and apply it and not be so solely stuck on the whole religion aspect.
Well, like with anything,
I think it does.
corruptness.
But what I'm saying though, if you're talking about the morale, some people would also go into conversation where we talk about slavery, they had their morale set up a certain way to benefit from, right?
Well, see, that's
So
what I didn't
saying.
want to get. See, this could get really long, because I didn't want to get into.
No, I'm not. I'm just hinting toward it because there's different ways we can. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we could go a lot. We might need to do a podcast
that's why I said
on
you have to be. You may need to be a little more specific in that type of answer because depending on the person's awareness.
So what I wanted to
bring
do,
those
and I
things
thought
up.
somebody would, yeah. So what I really wanted to answer to is what I was saying, in your answer, very robust. Is religion needed? I think I just wanted to stick to that. So in terms of, and I like where you were going because that's where I was, in terms of the way society is set up, and I'm not just talking about our society, I'm talking about societies and cultures across the globe. I think that it is needed. Now, what we do with regards to how we practice and what we do with it or whatever, just like anything else that people get their hands on, where it can become corrupt or we can become neurotic about it or whatever, that's human nature.
But you can, so now I feel like, and anybody's comment helped me work through it, I feel like that can be confusing what you said. You said on one hand, I think you said yes or no, but then you hit him with the but. So my thing is that
I think it's needed. I'm gonna say
okay.
I think that it's needed, and I'm gonna say why.
Okay.
There is a certain order of operations that comes with all religions. Right. Okay, and I think that the intended purpose of religion, I'm not talking about cults or anything like that, but the intended purpose of it, and overall what it does for people as a whole, whoever follows that religion, I think that it has served its purpose in terms of, for lack of better words, keeping people in line.
But for what reason? That's the question you have to ask.
I think that order is needed. I think that we have this. I think
needed.
We have this innate need to be attached to something outside of human life. Right. And I think that in knowing that, that's why religion was created.
But you got to also understand, like, there's nothing wrong with
your spirituality is different.
Right. I think it's more so focusing on the spirituality, right? Because you can go across the globe and you can kind of, a lot of the times, all religions kind of sound the same. So there's some universal principles in everything,
and that's what I meant. Just in terms of there's an outside entity that has created us, that there's this set of laws that we are to adhere to.
Right, so I think my side of it is saying that you don't have to necessarily attach it to something which we call a religion. Religion and spirituality don't necessarily go hand in hand.
In terms of this conversation, it's religion, because I was talking about the social construct. So when we get into the disciplines, I didn't want to get that in the weeds, all in the weeds with that, because then we're having another conversation. So I'm just saying the social construct of religion as a whole, not the disciplines.
Nah,
is it needed?
I just have to disagree.
So that's where you disagree.
Because I think what the intended purpose is, not what we think the outcome should have been. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was never planned in terms of order that would serve the people. It would serve someone else's agenda.
See, you're getting. This would be great to talk. Like, you're getting into. I want you to have your. But I understand what you're saying. Right. So you're getting into what it has been turned into, and how, in the response of the people.
Not what it was turned into. You got to understand when religious came on the scene. That's what was the intent. So that's what I'm saying. You have to separate the two.
No, religion has been around since the beginning of time. We have served
No, I
God.
think it's spirituality. And now I may have to read a little
Your
deeper.
spirituality is a derivative of your, it's.
But what I'm saying, they didn't call it religion. It just,
no, they didn't call it
right,
that.
so that's
the
what
letter
I'm saying.
R wasn't
call
even
it, we have to speak in terms of what it is. Like,
well,
when religion came on the scene, when it was called religion, and what followed thereafter, and how they put it together, that's...
So in your words,
right.
It's not needed. We can eradicate religion.
Right, for what...
And it's not needed, and we can still have a...
by the fruit that it bears, right? And I feel like the principles we can use...
Okay, so you saying... So this is what I'm saying. We can't do away with parts of it. If you saying... So you're essentially saying
no,
that you need a religion.
No, reality is when you're creating something new, you take from what is old and what is the foundation of. So I feel like it's like taking the wheel and reinventing it and calling it something else.
I think we almost saying the same thing.
We typically do, but again, I'm gonna say it how I say it.
Okay.
So just want to make sure that I'm clear on what I'm saying. Yeah, that's all I think it is. It's just that in order for people's spirit to recognize it. So now what it is like, it's almost like that. For instance, we've all seen a little video online on social media, right? They said they took a whole Payless store, right?
I saw that.
And they decorated it, and they sold it as a high-end shoe, right? And all it was, the value of it was Payless value. That's almost like what I'm...
Payless gone out of business.
Right. That's how I'm trying to express when it comes to religion. All it is they've taken and they give you this facade.
Well, yeah, we know that. So what I said, I didn't want to get in the weeds. So that's true. What you're saying is right. But I'm saying in terms of the concept, the construct. So I think that we are on the same, we're in the same book. Now, and we might be in the same chapter, but we're not on the same line, and that's fine. So I would say to end it there, because I feel like we could go on and on about this topic. I feel like this is a very robust topic. You all chime in. I think that this is a great starting point. I hope that this gets some views, potentially a lot. I want to thank you, Rupert, for contributing to this video. I'm Mary Lee. You'll probably see more videos from me in the future, but there you have it. I mean, those are our thoughts. So thank you for joining us. And you have anything?